Hey, my name is Scottie and thanks for joining me. In this tutorial we're going to be sketching this reference right here. Great reference. We're going to be using ink and watercolor techniques to sketch this in really loosely and lightly. I'm going to go through how you structure this, how you use simple line work. We've also got vanishing points to look at, and then how we're going to do that back scene with a mountain. That'll be really fun to do. Well, I've got a template here to follow, which is on my Patreon. You can see the details below. So let's start with using dots to measure out the sketch so it fits on the page. So I've got these two dots here, which is the width, but we also need some space for the tree and this little house on the side. So I'm going across to the bottom of my paper here, which is 5 by 7 inch. I'm going to go across to the bottom. We've got one dot here, leaving enough room for that tree. So I put the dot, and then we come across to the other side, and we'll leave also another space there like that. And then within those two dots, we can break this bottom section into 3 sections. So that distance across, we go up here, right above this dot, and then across again. Now we can go that same distance, so you could use your fingers here to there. So about here somewhere, that's the top of the tower. And then we've got a dot here, which just gives us that general height of that point of the tower, which is about a third down from here. So a third down across to where that dot is, a little dot there. Okay, now we can see that church is going to fit right in the middle of the page. Now the second thing I want to show you is about perspective. So with perspective, it's really important to have in mind the vanishing points. So the eye line is at the bottom here, because that's where the person took the photo. And we can see this front face here and the front face here. These lines are very straight. So that front vanishing point is way off into the distance. So we're just going to put a slight angle, but not really worry where they're going. But this angle here is really important on the side, the left-hand side of the building, and this roof line. Those points will hit about there. So when I'm drawing the sketch, I'll put my finger about here somewhere, and I'll aim those lines down to there. Okay, now so we're drawing really loose lines. They can be a little bit wobbly, and we're going to outline these main shapes. And we're looking down towards that point there. So let's get a nice loose line. We don't have to draw a ruler straight line, but it can be a little bit wonky like this. And we're coming down to where that top of that little triangle is, and drawing a little dip there like that. And then we're aiming down to this point too, and a little line there. Okay, and then we can join these lines up, coming straight down that, and then another line here. And you can see here the building here comes in towards that tower. So about a third up here. There's a lot of thirds in this reference. So a third up there, maybe we'll come in like this, then come down again. Now this roof here, we said that from this dot, it's about a third across. It's about here, and it comes down this way. Okay, so pick a point off the page about here. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just if you pick a point, make sure all those lines that we're going to draw towards that go to the same point. So this way like this. And now we can draw that front face of the building. So we don't want to go past this line here. And I would say the roof goes to about halfway between those 2 points. So keep that triangle nice like that. So I'm bringing that out like this, which means that should come down a little bit more. Okay, and then we'll come down this way, like that, and then come down like this for that drain pipe coming there. So I've got those two main shapes of the building. Now I've got this tree here on the side. Where does that point come up to? Nearly to that roof. So I put a point there, and we can start at the bottom here, and just use a very loose line, waving in and out, and it's random. So you're just letting your fingers just randomly move on the page to make nice wiggly lines. Okay, coming down now to the bottom, and that's where the snow is. So you can draw a line like that for the snow. Kind of wobbles up towards this point. Yeah. Now let's go over to this side. So I've got this little chapel here, and it comes up. This chapel we can guess a little bit more. It doesn't have to be accurate. So coming from that point here, coming up, comes in, and it's got like this little mini tower. And we're doing this in one line to keep it loose. Down, okay, get that roof line, just getting those main shapes. And down where the snow goes down, and then up. Okay, and there's some kind of bush or tree there. Okay, so we can continue this snow line down here, and then come across. Okay, so we've got a bit of a line there. Now I've been thinking about this tree. If we outline these, if we try and do all the sticks, it might stand out too much, all the little branches. if we outline the tree, it could look like it's summer. So one idea I had was to make this into the same tree, this one. So we'll see if that works. If I put a dot just above the roof, we can see maybe about there, just above the roof, and then we'll have it coming behind. So I've almost got to look at the other reference for some inspiration. Come like this, and then down like this. Just wiggling back and forth, but angling this down slowly. And the house, I want it to fit in a page, so don't go, make it a bit smaller if you have to, like this. So a window there, little windows. I think it just snuck that house in. Okay, I'm happy the way the sketch is fitting on the page. Now let's break down these big shapes, or these big main shapes, into even smaller shapes. So especially with the tower, we need to do that. So we have our 2 dots there, that's where the tower was ended. And we know that this vanishing point, as we talked about before, goes way off the page. So I'm just giving it a little bit of an angle here. So just like this. It's a little bit of an angle tilting this way. But this one we had going over here, and then that looks like that shape's going around the corner there. Now we can do these triangles. So this triangle would go to here, like this. And this triangle would go to there. So it will go up like this, down. You can do 2 lines if you like there. And this one, this will come through to that corner, and then there we go. And then we can add this pinnacle on the top, little circle. I think there'd be lines on here too. At that point, making sure straight line. Oh, missed it. But I was just trying to keep it straight. That was the main thing, rather than trying to get it right to that point. Okay, let's see if that works. And then this line will come down here, this, and then you can see this bottom section of the stonework down there. Now there's a good little dark window, so add that dark window in, circle there. Okay, and here we've got this detail here, circle there, and then a bigger circle here. So 2 circles. Sometimes you can adjust the first circle if it's not right. And then the windows. So the arch here, another arch here, that a bit big, nice and loose. Just adding in some of that detail and the window. We don't have to add everything we see. Now we've got that fence line, so all in one line this bit to keep it loose. We're adding in those sections. Anything else I missed? Okay, so there's a bit of snow here as well. So let's just add in that. There might be a connecting roof line there, that's probably why that snow's there. There's a little bit of snow here and here. Okay, what a little cute scene, I love this. I usually add a border, but I left it to the end. So let's go across and this way, just making it parallel to that top line. And then we can go down this way, crash into that tree, down there like that. Where's it going to hit? Okay, now some watercolor to this sketch. So we're going to start with the darker sections, put ultramarine. I'm going to start at the top, and then as we go we're going to add some Payne's grey, going down like this. And then as we go, let's add some Payne's grey, nice dark. It's just like variegated wash, makes it look like, it gives it more interest, this surface. Okay, let's do the same thing for this roof down here, down this little section here, and then we go to the Payne's grey mix, just like that. I'm actually going to do the same thing for the trees. So let's start at the top here with the ultramarine again, and even this house here, a little bit more to add interest, to add a bit more ultramarine just there. Just grabbing a bit of that Payne's grey there. And this clock, I'll just make that stand out by adding that. Here's some footprints coming up here. You can see there's something going on there. The footprints coming up in the snow, and there as well. We're going to try and do those lights on the tree. So let's get some cadmium yellow. Wait and see how it works. Shows through. That could look quite nice actually. So get some yellow ochre, but we don't want this to be yellow. We don't want it to be too strong. So I'm watering down this a lot and then adding Payne's grey again. And it should be like a very beigey colour. Go down like this. So just like the top of the tower, we've got a bit of change in the colour. And over here too. A little bit there, and the door. Okay, now we're going to tackle this background. So what idea I had here was, see the mist just behind the building? let's add some plain water. So I've got my plain water here, and we're just going to add water here. So the bottom section is wet on wet. So, and then the top section where the mountain will be wet and dry. See the crisp rocks there, but then if it touches this water here, it'll blend out and be almost blurry. Let's see if this works anyway. Now I'm just getting straight Payne's grey. Now I want to change the mountain a little bit so that the peak doesn't come right behind the building. It might come just here, just sort of coming up there. So we've got this shape, so coming down into that blurry bit there. It comes up there, goes up this way. Add some to that down there. It's very light here, and then it's coming down into that wet section. Now I'm adding some detail in. Now we're going to add shadows to the left-hand side of all the buildings. So we're exaggerating because it's a bit tricky from the reference to see, but I'm going to just put shadow on the left-hand side of the buildings. So start at the top here in that section, like this, because it should be all dry now. Just add a thin layer on top. Now we don't need to go too crazy on that. Okay, on this side too, a little bit there, and going like this. This side of the building there. Now this side of the building, shadow there. Okay, the first details on this building. Now we're not going to put black bricks there. Use a bit of the Payne's grey with the yellow ochre, and then get some of the water so we don't have too much water there. And then add in just some detail here. Okay, and then I might actually add a bit of burnt sienna, a little colour. We can get some of that darker Payne's grey that we had and just do a second layer for the windows here. Now, just with the background, I'm going to get a really light brush and just add just a subtle layer here to bring that out, just a little bit of contrast. Okay, I've got my Posca pen, has a fine tip. It's a very good marker for using highlights, for adding highlights. So just on the roof here, let's add some snow. Just here, maybe a little bit more around that section there. Okay, around this we can add some dots here where you can see on the reference there's lots of little lighter bits. Okay, now for these trees, I thought we could add some lights going diagonally across, like someone's got up on a big ladder and added little fairy lights like this. Just little dots, impressionistic. There we go. Looking very Christmassy now. So there you go, I'm really happy with this winter scene, the end result. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. If you want to sketch along, the best way is to join my Patreon because I've got the full version there. And also you can download the template and the reference to sketch along. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching this tutorial, and I'll see you in the next one.